we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
We're super excited to have you in tonight, and it's Tana.
It's Tana.
Tana.
Oh,
okay,
you already
I
got
fucked it up
one.
So
immediately.
the 80% chance that I gave it, I already got it. I should have gone 99%.
I should have just been thinking Montana.
Yep.
Tana.
Yep, Tana.
I like that name. It's very unique.
Simple.
Do people have a hard time with it like I just did?
Yes, absolutely. Because you have the Hannah, Hana, Tana, Tara. There's like so many
Do you ever
variations.
get Tanya?
Yeah, a few times.
'cause if
There's
you-
no Y in my name, but
There's
pops
no
up.
Y, but if you were to put like an N-Y over the N, right, like a Spanish N,
Yeah.
it'd be Tanya.
It
Like with a
would.
Spanish twist.
Yeah,
But it
that's
isn't.
true.
The fact
No.
remains. It's Tana.
My old roommate used to call me Joe Montana because that was the way that he could remember it.
Joe
so,
Montana.
Yeah, for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, football guy.
Well, either way, I'm glad that you made it down and come have a visit with us. I know we had to reschedule, but hey, you're here now.
Yeah.
So thanks for moving some stuff around.
Yeah,
and
so you could be live action opposed to Zoom, because live action
much better.
Yeah, there's just a better energy when people are actually in the same room, sharing space, oxygen, and it's a lot of fun. And you actually create opportunities for fun in the outdoor world with your company Illa.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love that live action energy because that's actually what our company is all about. We're using technology on our phones, but we joke that like we want to be the app that has the least amount of time spent in app, because we actually want people to like use their phone to find other people to get out with and then get off it and go have fun with each other and live in the moment. So, I totally feel you guys on having more in-person time. And I think we're all pretty sick of Zoom at this point. So,
Yes.
it's a good thing to make it happen whenever we can.
Absolutely. I mean, especially now that we've gotten past the COVIDs a bit, people are ready to get back outdoors and visit with each other. So when it comes to this app, right, you're trying to get through it quick. You want anyone that's using it to be able to say, hey, I can log on, I can figure out where I'm going in a quick pace. How did all that come about? First of all, how did it start and how did it get to that point?
Yeah, that's a long story. So we'll start back at the very beginning. So I am from New Hampshire, which I saw your phone number and I realized that we're both from New Hampshire.
603, what's up?
We always get somebody from New England up in here.
The
I swear to
Granite
God.
State.
Yes.
Live free or die.
Exactly. We do have the best.
Live free or die.
Yes, we do.
I think that deserves a cheers.
I think so too.
Thanks, Bud Light.
Cheers to that.
Can I get on this, please?
You're
You
not
can.
from New Hampshire.
Yeah,
I'm
you're not. You're not.
Okay, no,
I
actually,
love you.
no, take that back.
This
You
is-
take it back.
I can't take a cheers back, but Granite Staters, we get it.
Yes, we do. So yeah, I grew up in New Hampshire, and I've always been in the outdoors. I was skiing with my parents when I was a little kid. Worked at Putnam's ski resort all through high school. Worked at a surf shop back there. Moved to a bunch of mountain towns all over the country, but I've always been working in the outdoor industry, and I've always worked with a lot of girls, not enough, but always having the opportunity to meet women at ski resorts. I worked up at Winter Park Resort in their marketing department, and got to meet a lot of women up there. And then working at TGR, we got to bring a bunch of women into the office. And so just with all the brands that I've worked at, we've always had these like micro communities of women, and it's just so fun to be able to go out and get after it with other ladies who really love to get after it in the outdoors. And so my first business that I started when I left TGR was an outdoor e-commerce site for women. And when I started that, it was reselling stuff like ski gear, bike gear, Avi gear, and then the pandemic hit. And what really started Illa was that a bunch of us got together and we were so sick of being indoors, and we got on Facebook, started this Facebook group, and we were just trying to get together and see who lives close enough that they can socially distance and go have fun, like go on a hike together, go on a bike together. And just all of us getting together for these little group events and then introducing each other to friends we had across the country. It just kind of turned into this really fun little community. And so I wanted to create something like that ever since, just create a collective where it'd be really easy for women to find others that do things like they do. And so that was kind of the idea for it. That's where it started, was a Facebook group 2 years ago, 3 years ago. When was that?
And that turned into a business.
It did. And what really, what created that opportunity, so you guys are in Denver, you might be familiar with VF Corporation. They are the holding company for Smartwool, Vans, the North Face. And they actually opened up a venture studio where they were looking for new companies to invest in. And so that's actually what really caused ILA to become a company was I got introduced to them by a friend. I went through their whole application process. It's called the Venture Foundry. And they helped me test everything, test the concept, and put together what this app might look like. And then they actually funded my MVP. So they gave us the funding to get this whole thing off the ground. And that was a year ago. And it's amazing to think that fell in our lap.
The website is actually, because we got Sarah, Christine, and also Heather in the studio tonight. I know you can't see them on any of these cameras, but she was, you can holler if you want. This is the time. Yeah, so
holler, what's up?
Holla. So the website's really intuitive, and it looks like it's extremely easy to use. You could even see who is going to be joining which event you're selecting. So, I mean, technology is such a big piece of every company, and when you can get good technology that, you know, is fun to use, and actually, I like your whole mission of we want to be the least used app, but when you use it, it works really good. Like, it's just, that's good stuff there.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I will say, building a tech product, I'm not a technical developer. I hired people to do it. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, man. I have so much respect for everyone out there that is building technical products and engineers. It really takes so much thought to do the simplest things.
That's true.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And it's competitive. I mean, you look at the big apps, they're constantly competing for your time, right?
Yeah.
They send notifications when they see you're active in things. I mean, they figured out these algorithms to try to keep people and maximizing their time on these apps, whereas I kind of like that approach, saying, hey, direct, decisive, to the point. You want to do something outdoors, get on there, select it, show up.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. Cut out the nonsense.
Yeah. And the way that we're doing it, so it's a progressive web app right now, which means that you have to use a browser to get to it. So you use Safari or Chrome or whatever you have on your phone. We are looking to get into iOS later this year. But the way that ILA works right now, so we are a membership collective. So women pay a membership fee to become a member. Right now we are based in Jackson Hole, which is where I came down from, and also here in Denver. And when women join, it asks you a series of questions. It says, tell me what activities you like to do. So it might be skiing, snowboarding, hiking, running, cross-country skiing, mountain biking. And then it'll ask you a little bit about how comfortable do you feel doing these sports and what terrain do you like to do it on. And we use that information so that when you jump on the app and you say, I want to go skiing this weekend and I want some other women to go with, it sends out text messages automatically to everybody who fits the same preferences that you have. So it's kind of like, I like the name ILA because it reminds me of a woman's name, and it's kind of like the friend that's always making plans. It's always sending out the group text and saying, what are you guys doing this weekend?
I was going to ask about the name, like where did that derive from?
Yeah, so ILA, it's funny because at the very beginning, I wanted it to sound like a woman's name because I wanted it to be that friend that's always inviting people out. So I literally pulled up a name of like unique women's names, short names, because, you know, apps are always good when they have like a short name. And ILA really stood out to me, first of all, because it's just easy to spell, nice and short. But also, you know, I've grown up in this industry that's always been really male dominated, and it's bro culture.
Of course.
And I've always hated that there's no like women specific term for like being like a badass. It's always like a female badass, you know? Like I guess Betty is like the closest thing.
Betty is a badass?
Yeah,
Betty
a Betty.
badass?
You never heard of like Sweaty Betty or like any of those?
Sweaty
like,
Betty.
Yeah,
Sweaty
a Betty
Betty
is like someone super cool.
I've never heard of Sweaty Betty, but I'm sure she's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a brand, but yeah.
Oh.
You should.
Okay.
Sweaty Betty
That's
was
amazing.
a brand that then became a term, right?
I haven't actually met Sweaty Betty, but I'm sure she's cool too.
I'm sure she's on a hike right now.
She probably is, yeah. But yeah, so I saw ILA, and it just reminded me of like, oh, that's sick, that's ILA. Like, it's just,
That's
I don't know.
ill, yeah.
You know, and it was like, it was feminine with the A at the end. So I was just really drawn to it. And then, you know, for a company, domain was available. So boom, let's go. And yeah, so far everyone really likes it. And it
I like the name, though. I feel like it kind of creates some intrigue.
Yeah.
You know, you hear ILA, you're like, well, what's ill? You know, what's ILA?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with that? So I think it's a great name, and the backstory behind it really fits.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought it was a great name, and it like just looks really cool with our branding and our logo and everything too, which is kind of a fun thing to have.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It looks good. Now, do you like work with other local or regional partners, whether it's outdoor clothing, things of that nature, or just other maybe outdoor companies, or are you just kind of just spearheading this thing and getting ILA to be its own deal?
Yeah, so for the last year, we've really been working on building out the technology, and so we only launched in Denver in September. We're really new. And, at this point, we're trying to bring up our member base, and right now, getting new partners on is actually our main focus. So we have a lot of partnerships in the works. I don't know if I can talk about any of them officially on the air because...
You're working on things.
Yes, we're working on things. But to answer your question, reaching out to a lot of gear companies, so between my work at TGR and then with the shop that I owned, Mountainist, I have a lot of brand relationships. And so reaching out to them to try to get some perks for our members, and then also working with a lot of service providers and locations, destinations, vendors, trying to just create unique experiences for our vendors. I like to always say, this sounds so dorky, but like ILA, I want it to be like a cool AAA. Like, do you guys remember like AAA was like, you could use it to get discounts, or your parents would always use it to get discounts. Everyone, like, it'd be fun to pull out your card. Like,
yeah, get that AAA discount for sure.
Exactly.
You get some parking benefits. You might get some outdoors. I mean,
totally.
AAA can come in handy.
I know it can, but like ILA, I want that to be like, you can use it to basically get access, like cool access to all of these things that are about the outdoor lifestyle. So we're being really selective about who we bring on, just to get, opportunities for women to get out and do things that are maybe not in their usual wheelhouse. Like working with some friends of mine that own snowmobile companies to like get out and do a day on snowmobiles, or go to a climbing gym, or just do something that's like out of your comfort zone and meet other women doing it.
I love that.
Kind of makes me think of our good friend Tammy over there at Spirit Forest. She's got a YouTube channel. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I'm not.
She teaches women's survival here in Colorado. We've had her on the program a few times. We didn't get her on this year, unfortunately, but we'll hopefully get her back in. But she's been in the industry a long time and has great content about women's survival, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm hearing kind of the with getting women outdoors. I almost feel like that could be a good partnership, or even a cool experience, because I mean, again, she makes a lot of content around, her channel is taking people outdoors and getting up and doing. I mean, she did a lot of winter camping and things like that, which is something
she's badass.
I wouldn't even consider doing.
She's more badass than Kevin and I, for sure.
Spirit Forest is amazing. So
and she has like this custom knife that she let us hold one time, and I still feel honored for that. Yeah. But kind of going back, because I was thinking about this a little bit about like the AAA thing. I recently saw a video online where it's like this dude whipped out a Costco card. Yeah. Did you see that one?
No.
Okay, but the girl was so impressed with the Costco card. It's like one of those things. You could get something going where it's like, yeah, there's perks to this, baby. Something like that.
To a Costco card?
Oh yeah, no, that shows that like you are thrifty, you're saving, and you know where the deals are.
Discounts on bulk trail mix.
Yeah, well, let me ask, like, do you find Costco cards attractive?
That's tricky because where I live in Wyoming, we don't even have one close to us. So I'm like, that takes a lot of effort to go shopping at Costco.
That's a long drive.
It is.
I mean, because you said you're in Jackson Hole, so that
I skied here.
Okay. You skied down the hill for this podcast?
Yeah, it's like an 8-hour drive. But what's really cool is because I used to live in Winter Park, I have a lot of friends that are kind of along the 40 corridor.
Yeah.
So on the way down, I stayed with some friends in Steamboat, and then I did an ILA happy hour. And then I stayed with some friends in Winter Park, and then I did an ILA happy hour. And then I came down to Denver, and last night we did an ILA happy hour.
Hell yeah.
So it's a really cool way for me to get in a bunch of meetings and, just see a lot of friends. And then I must have met up with like 35 different members that I hadn't met yet on my way down here.
That's terrific.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, and now you're bringing an ILA happy hour to Discussion Combustion. We're doing live action like this.
We even let the boys in on this one.
Thank you. we feel honored.
That's an honor.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
terrific.
Well, we're modern men, and we believe it's okay to cry. So, like, we've kind of broken some of those barriers down a little bit.
It's good to cry.
It
I
is.
support this.
It feels good.
Yeah,
it feels
it
good.
does.
Like,
I'm
men,
still
men can
adjusting.
be vulnerable too.
I'm still adjusting.
Yeah.
I'm a little late to the modern man party, but I'm adjusting.
Yeah.
I've been shedding some tears here and there, trying to get out of my comfort zone. But,
that's awesome.
Hey, that's living. That's real. That's real life action, right? We're all dealing with different things, and it's good to put it all out there, I feel like.
It is. You just got to let it out.
So what inspired all this? Because obviously there's like a catalyst to what created your inspiration to actually start pursuing this and really get serious about it as like an entrepreneur. Did your parents bring you out hiking all the time, or what was your outdoor experience that really like solidified this whole mission for you?
That's a really good question. I mean, it's been my lifestyle, it's just always getting out there. And I don't know if it's really one specific little moment, but I think it's a combination of moments of women that I know and women that I don't know reaching out to me to ask for introductions, recommendations, asking, where can I go to do this? Do you know anything about this? And that happened a lot while I was at TGR. I managed all of their brand communications, and I would always get messages from women saying, I wish that there was opportunities for me to do this, or I wish I saw more women doing this. So I think it was really just this slow hammering over, a decade.
There's a need.
Yeah.
Because you keep getting hit with the same questions. You're like, there's obviously a need here.
Yeah.
That's not being fulfilled.
Yeah, and it really was. It was like, man, if everything is coming back to, somebody like me, the super connector, I know there's other people that are doing this, but there's got to be a way that we can create this super connection catalyst synthesis using technology in a way that we haven't used it before. Because, I've heard from women that are flipping around settings on Tinder to find people to go ski with. And
really?
Yeah, and it's just, there's got to be a way that we can use all of this technology at our fingertips to make it easier and just create shortcuts. If Sarah reaches out to me to find somebody else who's going to introduce her to somebody else, why can't we create the platform that does all that work for us and just sends out the message and says, hell, let's just all go skiing together. We know that we're going to have a good time.
I didn't realize people went on Tinder to do skiing. I thought it was just to do adult activities.
Yeah. Skiing is an extracurricular.
Well, yeah, and skiing could be an adult activity.
I'm just saying. I haven't heard a lot of folks going, hey, who knows? I am the most unhip person. I've never swiped right on anything, so I don't know. But I like the idea of trying to simplify it a little bit so folks can say, hey, let's get together. We want to do skiing, stuff like that. Yeah,
and there's a lot of other women's groups that do similar things, and they're on Facebook groups. I personally am not on Facebook very much anymore. I can't stand them anymore with all the, the posts and everything. Yeah. And you have to go and you have to look through. If somebody says, does anyone want to go out on Friday? You're looking for that every day.
And then you get caught up in a bunch of other nonsense.
Exactly. Yeah, so we flipped it around and made it proactive.
That's good. And that's showing good results.
It is, yeah. And that was the other thing. We put together a very, very basic version of this, and we launched it up in Jackson. And we started with hiking and mountain biking and dirt biking. I'm big into motorsports, and there's a pretty big motorized community in Jackson. A lot of women, a lot more than you'd think, riding dirt bikes. So we started there, and this girl named Sarah, she heard about it. She signed up. I'd never met her before, and she met Heather and I at a trailhead. It was our very first meetup with a total stranger who said, I want girls to go dirt biking with, and we had an awesome time, and she's ended up being one of our star members ever since. And I just keep having that experience, and I'm like, this can't be wrong. This is what we're trying to do here is create these connections. And the other thing that I think is really cool, you were talking about your friend that does the outdoor classes and the survival classes. There are so many amazing opportunities for women to go to clinics and to learn. There are, ski courses, there's clinics, there's nonprofits that are providing all sorts of educational outlets and opportunities. And I think where we have figured out that we come in as a differentiator is if somebody wants to learn how to something, we'll send them in the right direction. We're not teachers.
You got the connects.
We're not coaches, but we'll send them in the right direction. But what they come back to ILA for is for the fun part. Because you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm good enough at this that I don't necessarily need to pay for somebody to go with me. I don't need to pay to go and do this. But I would like to go out and I don't really want to do it by myself.
Yeah.
So we're really focused on the social side. We're for the outdoors, but yeah, we're not so much a coach or a mentor or a teacher, but we're going to help you find people to go with so that you can really access that lifestyle. Not just the skills, but if you want to be not just I want to ski or I want to bike, but if you're like, I want to be a skier, I want to be a biker. I just moved to Denver. Everybody here loves the outdoors, and I really want this to be more of my life. Let's give her the tools and the skills and the connections so that she can get closer to that vision that she has of herself as an athlete or as an outdoor enthusiast. And that's what I think is really cool about it.
No, it's super cool. I mean, it sounds like this is just something that should have always existed. As you're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, no, this all makes sense, and it has its place, and it's important because, as much as the whole, how do I say this? So men can make things extremely creepy for women. I'm just gonna say it blatantly, and it's a shame because everybody should be able to freely go out and enjoy things without feeling like they're always gonna get hit on. And so to have this place where there's a layer of comfortability and it's secure and trustworthy because it's almost 2 years old. Like how?
Well, it's the app is like the company's a year old, but we've only been in operation for about 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, like real.
Let's
real
go.
short. Yeah.
You're fresh
Yeah.
to the market.
Fresh.
Like Kickstarter style.
Super
Let's
fresh.
let's go then.
Yeah.
What's the website everybody can check out?
Yeah. So the website is weareilla.com, and it's ILLA. So.
Weareilla.com, ILLA.
Yep.
And that'll definitely be
Yes.
in the show notes down below.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to include that and definitely promote this because it's important. It really is important. I am a firm believer of being outdoors and the benefits of being in nature and removing yourself from the concrete jungle that is, the city and all that. When you get out into nature and you're walking on dirt paths and you're smelling, the fresh shrubbery or whatever it may be, like
Shrubbery.
yeah, it's an experience that is in that moment. If you can recognize that, wow, I'm really enjoying being on this place, in this place on this planet, then it's enlightening.
It is.
So that you're helping create that for people.
Thank you. But the other thing that I think is so cool, just on that note, you said getting out and getting into fresh air and moving around. So the other reason that we started this was not just to be able to, help women get outside, but specifically for women who identify with the outdoors. Like, I am an outdoor enthusiast. It's all I want to do in my free time. It's really hard for us to meet each other. It's hard for us to find each other. Like, where is that central location? Like, do you go to a gym? They're not really there. Do you walk up to somebody at the ski resort? Like, hey, do you want to be my friend? Like, that kind of works. But there aren't really that many places where, unless you meet at a trailhead or a parking lot, there's no go-to place where it's like, oh, obviously this is where I go to meet girls who do these things. And so the idea of making friends that like to do the same things that you do, like if you're not somebody who wants to go out to happy hour or wants to watch NFL all Sunday, it can be difficult to find those people. And what we started to learn through all of our research, so there's tons of research that says that humans actually create stronger bonds with other humans when there is synchronized movement. That's why things like dancing create a stronger bond. Like, if you've ever been to a concert and you're all kind of you're all bobbing your heads together and you look around, you're best friends with everybody around you. And that is actually a neurological effect that when we move together, when we walk together, we have more trust, we have more vulnerability. And so what I think is so cool about that is we're helping women find others to get out with, but also for women who, just moved to a new city and are looking for new friends, or for women whose social circles kind of disintegrated during the pandemic. They moved for a job, they just had kids, or their kids are grown up enough that they want to actually start getting out more. We're creating opportunities where it's not just going to meet for a coffee and nice to meet you, what do you do? That was fun, probably never going to talk to that person again. But if we go for a 2-hour hike together, we're going to create this bond where it's you know what? I kind of know Sarah a little bit better now, and I'm excited to get out with her again. So it really is coming into play, all these different aspects of friendship building and trust and vulnerability. So there's a lot more at play than just meeting up with people outdoors.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think back to my New Hampshire days. So when I was a young lad back in New Hampshire, I was a part of this Appalachian Mountain Teen program, which was super fun. I was a troubled teen. I was angry, and I went through all this shit. So I joined this program, and we got outdoors. I got to meet, folks my age, and we would do hiking and canoeing and all that kind of stuff up in New Hampshire. The Kangamangas. I don't know how familiar you are with.
Yes, I know.
The Kangamangas?
We're going to talk New Hampshire, guys. I'm telling you
We're
this
gonna
right
drop
now.
all sorts.
What's the Kangamanga?
Tana knows. Kangamanga Highway?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a highway, but it's also an epic. It's like a falls. It's a river. It's a staple in New Hampshire. And for all the leaf peepers, as we call them, right? I'm testing your New Hampshire-ness here, and it's working. The leaf peepers would come up and take a look at our scenery.
And they would.
Still on the Kangamanga route.
I mean, the Kangamanga Highway is probably one of the best fall foliage you'll see in the country. Would you agree with me?
It's pretty beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
I mean, we got great foliage out here in Colorado, of course. I mean,
it's nothing like New England.
It's
sorry.
nothing like New England.
No, it doesn't
It
hold
just
a candle.
Yeah, see, she gets it.
I mean, I feel like I get it too, and I haven't even experienced it really. I want a Kangamanga up.
Hashtag Kangamanga up. 603 live free or die.
Exactly.
That's great.
But yeah, movement outdoors, it just makes you feel better.
It definitely does me. I feel like I get recharged every time I do it, and I haven't been great at it this past year. I'll be honest. I haven't been outdoors as much as I want to be. Didn't do any camping this year. I'm a big fishing guy. I love fishing. You know, I did ice fishing on Lake Winnipesaukee,
Nice.
but I just didn't do a lot of it this year. And I feel like when I do it, I feel much better. You know, and it's easy to make excuses. I've been busy. I got this and that and the other thing to do, but 2023, I'm gonna do better at getting outdoors.
Yeah.
It
And
just makes me feel good.
It's hard to do in the city too, because I mean there are some things that you can do outdoors, but for the most part, you guys have to have a plan. You gotta, get up to the mountains or get wherever you're gonna go for your activity. So it's a lot easier living in a small mountain town or somewhere like myself. I can take off for a couple hours on my lunch break. I'm very, very, very lucky to be able to do that. But I know that not everyone has that privilege, and so that's another reason why we're just trying to create more events and opportunities and plans for women so that they can open up their phone and say, oh, look at all this cool stuff going on. I'm gonna go try this, and oh, I know this person. So just trying to like cut down on all those barriers that stand in front of you when you're trying to just make it happen.
So what would you say is like your favorite outdoor activity? Is it like biking, skiing, hiking? What is it?
I am a snowmobiler. Avid
snowmobiler, okay.
That's all I love to do.
This brings it back to my New England roots.
Exactly.
I had plenty of ski-doos. My first one, my dad ended up melting his boot on it. It was a one-cylinder that he held wide open going across Lake Winnipesaukee. The thing got so hot that his boot melted to
Oh my
the
God,
side of the
that's
chassis.
terrible. It's a good thing you didn't melt the ice.
Yeah, it's good that he didn't melt the ice. But yeah, I mean, I grew up doing snowmobiling on the lake and just hauling ass across the lake. I love snowmobiling.
Yeah, they've evolved a lot since those days. It's
Yeah, I guess
crazy.
I am kind of an old lad.
Well, no, just even in like the last 5 years, it's amazing what they can do now. So
I haven't ridden one in over 15 years at this point because I've been in Colorado since '07. But it's so fun.
Yeah.
I don't talk to a lot of people in Colorado that do snowmobiling.
I don't think I've ever snowmobiled. Like I've ATV'd and stuff, and
You need to snowmobile.
I've never snowmobiled. I've never done that.
Done snowmobiling. It's so much fun.
it's pretty
What's
amazing.
your go-to? Or do you own one, or do you just rent?
I own a couple.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, no, I have a real addiction. So
Snowmobiling?
yes.
That's terrific.
But it's always been snow.
Do you customize them too? Like do a paint job and like
No.
put on some flair, like
I-
maybe some eyelashes on the headlights or something.
I'm gonna
know.
do that. Put some cheetah print all the way down the sides. No, that's
your
a
own.
pretty common thing. People like to wrap their snowmobiles and do a lot of
Okay.
aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
I like to put on a steel bumper on either side because
Oh, that's
I'm
smart.
a magnet for obstacles.
That's smart.
So that's about the extent of customization.
So
that I
how
do.
fast have you went on a snowmobile? Like what's your top speed?
I don't know. So I'm a mountain sledder, which means that you're usually doing a lot slower speeds because you're in really deep snow. You're going up mountains. You're going into ditches. And so they're different than the snowmobiles that are made for just going on trails. I mean, they still go very fast. I could easily you can get up to 100 and
Yeah.
They haul ass.
they do. They haul ass. They haul ass.
Here's the big question. Have you ever skipped water on one?
I have not.
That
I just don't
is-
see the need to. That seems like
That's a risky thing. That was big
Yeah.
where
You
I'm
You could
from.
waste a lot of money that way.
yeah,
Or where we're from,
you
I
could
should
just
say.
watch $20,000 just sink to the bottom.
Well, as Jeremy Clarkson says from the BBC, power and speed is the only way to do it. And growing up, I always remember everyone just ripping it across the water because under the bridge, for some reason it wouldn't freeze there. So they'd come flying off the ice, and you'd see these guys skidding water and just shooting off the sides. I mean, I would skid just a little bit. I never had the cojones to really full send across that much water. Well, you've seen it done. I mean, that's
Yeah.
big up in New Hampshire. These guys
It
love
is.
taking their
And so,
sleds
like, in the
across the water.
Midwest,
And I like
yeah,
that you
they
call it a
still do that.
sled.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of folks don't know that term when you're talking snowmobiles.
When you're
it's
in
a sled.
when you're in
No, I
Alaska,
wouldn't
it's
know
a
that.
snow machine.
Snow machine, yes.
Snow machine in Alaska.
Have you been up there?
I have. That's where I
Okay.
learned, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So my friend from.
Beer toss.
Oh.
First time ever done. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Bingo. so oh damn, Kev, that was sexy.
So was that.
And so we were saying the snow machine in Alaska, yes.
Yes.
Kind of has different demographics, I guess, the titles and stuff. But so Jackson Hole, what's the sledding like up there?
It's incredible. So I live in a little town called Alpine, which is about 30 miles south of Jackson Hole. You're dying over here. Yeah, so Alpine's about
my goodness.
30 miles south of Jackson Hole, and we just have amazing access down there to the national forest, and there's so many good access points. We're super lucky because my husband and I moved down there and bought a house before the housing market went through
Yeah.
the roof. And so we're very lucky to be able to pretty much go out our garage and just have fun in our backyards. But yeah, before that, I mean, snowboarding, I've always been in snow. So snowboarding was always my first love. And then in the summer, downhill mountain biking and dirt biking. So those have
That's
been
badass.
kind of my
Those are all
sports of
things
choice.
those are all things that have intimidated me my whole entire life.
Me too.
Because I mean, but that's how you live is you do things that like intimidate you and is a challenge, and that's where you truly feel alive. Because once you finish doing that, like you're like, oh, I just did that. That was such a great day. I had so much fun challenging myself, and it's just I've seen so many people break bones and stuff doing those especially the dirt biking, like that's pretty badass.
Well, I definitely don't like try to get after it or do really cool things. I just try to keep the rubber side down, and I've been doing a pretty good job of it so far. So, but what I think is so cool, and Jackson might be, unique in this respect, but I know a lot of girls in Colorado and Utah that also ride. I have a group of women, before I started ILA, there's probably like 9 or 10 girls that I have on a group text, and we go out for weekly rides, and that's pretty unique. You didn't see that 10 years ago. Same with snowmobiling. A group of women that we can all go out together and, feel very self-sufficient, and we feel safe, and, we've been out enough and we have the know-how that we help each other along. And so I think that's been just one of the reasons to stick with it. Like, you're not going to buy one of those machines if you're only going to get out on it once a year or twice a year.
Not worth it.
But if you can make the investment knowing I have a group of friends that are going to support me and that are going to go out with me, that's been a huge impetus for just wanting to stick with it and get better and buy new equipment, and just, really making it a priority in my life. So
I like that you made it like kind of a social thing too, because some folks buy it, they're in the wilderness, whatever, dirt bikes, ATVs, snowmobiles, but then it's just like you said, buy it, use it once, twice a year. But when you can have a group of people that can get together and go ride, that makes it so much more fun, because it becomes like a thing. Hey, this Saturday we're all going out. You can plan it. You can get excited about it. Who's bringing the beer? Who's bringing the food? That's how it was back in New Hampshire, anyways. If you're going on a ride or something, like let's go full send. This is an all day event.
Yeah.
We're not just putting around for an hour. This is an 8-hour deal.
Or you plan trips. Like, let's go up to Montana and go to this area that we all heard about, And yes, it is. They are very expensive sports. There's fuel, there's equipment, there's all these things involved. But, as I like to explain to people, first of all, your thing might be going to Las Vegas, My thing is spending that money on toys that I can use a little bit closer to home. And, the other thing is, okay, so you might spend a lot of money on a snowmobile. The people that are buying passes at, Jackson Hole Resort, those are almost $2,000 a pop for a full ski resort pass at Jackson Hole. You do that for 5 years, which is about how long you keep a snowmobile for. It almost washes out.
That's true.
But yeah, it's prioritizing different things. And, snowmobiling and dirt biking is definitely a very, very small percentage on the app. It's really just something that I wanted to open up.
So what's the most popular activity, would you say?
Hiking, backpacking, biking, skiing and snowboarding in Denver for sure. And, there are definitely a lot more accessible sports. But the other thing I'm excited about is women might join the collective. When you join a membership like that, if you have no outdoor experience, it's going to feel pretty intimidating. But if you have experience in one area, if you're either a climber or a hiker or even a runner, you're going to come in feeling like you have something to offer the community because, I feel proficient in this one activity and I'm going to have people to go with, and maybe I'll be able to show them, a couple places that I like to go. And then through that experience, you start to meet people. Okay, you and I match to go running. Oh, you mountain bike? I've always really wanted to try that, and then you have an opportunity to meet women that can introduce you to these other circles that you never would have gotten into because you didn't have that personalized introduction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have, all these sports on there, but I think it's because you kind of create this web of experience, and you just get these opportunities for mentorship that just come naturally from having relationships with people.
So is it like a membership? Like
it is.
How many members are you at right now?
So with our testing, we have roughly 100 members, and most of them are based here in Denver. And then we have a handful up in Jackson Hole from our pilot that we started with up there.
So the ILA crew, 3 months deep, is at 100 banger.
Yeah.
That's actually really, that's something to celebrate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's exciting.
And we have a lot of other women that want to join that just aren't in this part of the country, and we haven't opened it up to them because we want to make sure that we can provide some sort of, additional value if they're not going to be here for our events. But we've been toying around with like some virtual events, which I know we were saying we want people off the app, but sometimes there are things to be learned from virtual. We've had some So Chantel, she's a friend of mine. She is a high altitude physiologist. And so she came in, it's really specific.
High altitude physiologist.
Yeah, so for like endurance hikers and runners that do like 100-mile races or do like high elevation competitions over in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, so like big stuff.
So like Olympic type stuff.
Yeah, or what was the event that Zach was telling us about today? Was it the 202?
29.0. It's the height of Everest.
It's running. They have to go up the mountain, up and down the mountain, as many times as it would take to actually hit the top of Everest.
So crazy endurance events. Anyway, she coaches athletes to do this for a living.
So they do like a mock, because I don't know if that picked up, mock Everest event.
Yes.
In order to train.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's not something we do. This was an event that we heard about, but these are the types of events that she would coach for. And she came in just to do, a talk about how to keep yourself kind of active through the off season and keep like a good mentality. And we had like 10 or 12 women jump in on that. So there are opportunities to bring in women from other areas of the country and just at least get them introduced to each other. Because if you meet virtually, then you might see each other on the app. Then you might want to go and do something together. So yeah, our goal is just to create as many ways, as many options as possible for our members to connect with others that are like them in the way that they want to.
Illa is a dope company.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like it. I like the whole mission statement. I like the reason behind it and the momentum that you've already built in such a short period of time, mind you. Like, if you think about 3 months, like, that's a quarter of a year, and, like, how fast does a year go by? Mm-hmm. So
fast.
It's like you're in the baby stages, but this baby ain't even crawling. It's already walking, is how I feel.
It's going to ski soon.
Yeah. It's going to ski.
It's going to ski.
Coming out of the gate strong for sure. Now, when you look at like scaling this thing, could this be like a national deal?
That is the goal. Yeah.
I hope you're coast to coast.
Yep. So when we were doing all of our testing, we kind of figured out this plan of these different regional locations that are kind of hotspots for the women that we're trying to attract. I mean, one day I would really like this to be for, we just use the term active women. And, that's like active outside, active physically, active in their communities, active socially. Because I don't think that it needs to be so specific to like outdoor enthusiasts, but that is kind of the early adoption market that we went after. And it's, obviously very close to my heart. But all of these early adopters kind of live in the Rocky Mountain area, in, LA and kind of California, and then up in the Pacific Northwest. So our goal is to kind of roll out to each of these regions slowly, working with partners. And then when we get to the point that we hit critical mass, we can just open it up. And I mean, my dream is 2 years from now, I could get off a plane in New Hampshire in the summer, open my phone, get, a discount at a hotel, find a bike rental, that is recommended as like, they're great to work with, and then find 3 women that live somewhere near Highlands Bike Park that want to come ride with me this weekend. Or I could get off a plane in, Washington and find a couple girls that want to go surf with me. So I just think like, how cool would it be if you just had this kind of like trusted network of individuals, like friends, like in your pocket that you could just find or reach out to and say, I've been really wanting to go out to Moab. Can you recommend some things? And they say, sure, come on out. And by the way, like I'll take you out on Saturday.
It's totally happening in 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so close to the end of 22. I would say that it's happening this year, but like it just hit me. Intuitive feelings. Like in 2023, it's going to be nationwide, and then you're going to start getting people that are within the same state region that are communicating with you and being able to create like that outside network of Colorado and Wyoming in other states and just start connecting people through the app and application. And it makes so much sense, and I can feel it. I can feel this movement and this build off this.
Universe, did you hear that? Write that down.
Yes.
This is happening.
Repetition is the mother of skill, and affirmations do fulfill.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe and achieve, and you will. So, no, I like
Writing
it.
a limerick?
Yeah, I know. I'm getting all poetic over here. A poet didn't even know it. Make a rhyme every time.
Stop.
Okay.
You need to stop.
Okay.
He'll keep going. He'll keep going if we don't
You
stop.
didn't get it.
Hey man, I'm trying.
Let's do it again.
Oh.
Look at that one hand
Throw him
right
the
there.
whiskey.
What did you say again? After me, what did you say?
Fuck.
can't do it again. Ayo.
So,
Oh, that's
in any
great.
event, let's bring it back to the Granite State.
Yes.
So I want to talk about some New England culture here. I spent a long time up there. I don't know how many years you spent in New England, but
Until I was 18.
that's about. I moved out here when I was 18.
Yeah.
So had so much fun. Met some great people up there. Really took in the culture. Huge Patriots fan to this day. I love New England sports. The food up there
Are you
is
a Pats
great.
fan too?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't follow much football anymore,
Okay.
but I was totally a bandwagon fan, and when I was college, it was really good to be from New England because it was like we won everything.
This is true.
Yeah,
The
it
Sox,
was a really good
the
year.
Bruins.
The Bruins, the
Yeah.
Celtics. It was like 1 year where we basically just like cleared house. It was
And
great.
then, of course, the Patriots, the dynasty. Love Tom Brady. That's another story.
Yeah, sorry to cut you
We don't
short
have
there,
time
man.
for that.
No, I don't want to go on a Tom Brady love rant right now because that'll take the rest of the program. But New England's fun, and a lot of folks that haven't visited, I would recommend going up there. It's just so old. There's so much history and culture and just fun things to do up there. And you said you're kind of from the Portsmouth area, right?
Yeah, down on the seacoast.
Yeah, Newington, Rye.
Yep.
That area. I used to go down to Hampton Beach, the Hampton
a good
Beach
spot.
Ballroom. A lot of fun spots down there. Great food, great times. New England clam chowder. It's still one of my favorites. Are you a fan?
I do love clam chowder. Yeah,
It's got to be New England style, though, right?
Yeah,
Like
and a
that.
lobster roll. I've just been dying
The
for
main
a good
lobster,
lobster roll.
So there is
So
a place here
Perfect
in Denver.
Landing. The Perfect Landing, is
Perfect
that what you were
Landing.
gonna say?
No, but I'm glad you brought
Okay.
that up because Perfect Landing is probably second to what I was going to say.
Okay.
If you're a lobster fan, you got to go to the main Lobster Shack downtown Denver. They brought one out here. They fly it in fresh from Ipswich.
Really?
I think every 2-3 days, whatever. My mother
Okay.
loves it. She goes down there. It's a treat. Perfect Landing at Centennial Airport is also probably some of the best New England clam chowder you'll have in the state
At
of
the
Colorado.
airport?
Yeah, at Centennial Airport. See,
Shocking.
So it's,
no, it's like
yeah.
it's a hidden gem. Like it's like a word of mouth place, but you could easily go in there and just get a spot at the bar. Like if you want a table and to like have a romantic time about it, then you got to call in for reservations.
Okay.
But you can walk in and just go get a spot at the bar. And the food is always on point. You
Hidden
have
gem.
Yeah, you have planes out there on the tarmac. You watch them land as you land a fork in your mouth while you're eating, and it's a fantastic time. I love it there.
That's great. I'll have
Yeah.
to go and check that out sometime.
It's good because it's hard to get good like New England cuisine out here. Just being
agree.
how landlocked we are. That an airport would make sense because these guys can fly in some stuff, weekly or whatever. Same with the main Lobster Shack. But depending on how much time you're spending in Denver, I would recommend getting down there so you can get a taste of home.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna hit you with an unpopular statement, perhaps.
Okay.
So when people from the West Coast are asking me, like, what's New Hampshire like, and tell me about growing up there, the thing that I've started to lead with is that New Hampshire is so unique because we have everything. We have surfing, we have skiing, we have leaf peeping. We have like everything from the West, kind of in this little miniature state, but I don't know if we have the best of anything, any one thing. It's like when you think like maple syrup, it's like, I don't know, like Vermont's kind of got that. And then
Vermont
you're like
definitely has
Maine,
that.
you're like, oh, Maine kind of has
Has the
that.
lobster,
like
yeah.
skiing, not necessarily best skiing. Surfing, pretty low on the list.
Yeah.
But it's so cool because we literally have everything.
We can offer all of that, but
Interesting.
I would agree with that's actually a good.
Except a state motto.
I mean, live free or die.
Yeah, that we do.
That,
we win
that
that.
is that is
yeah.
the coolest statement.
Yeah.
Live free or
I
die.
agree with that.
And no
But I
sales
digress.
tax. No sales tax.
Yeah.
Like
Wyoming,
Texas.
yeah.
Like Texas.
Or
Wyoming.
Montana doesn't either. Yeah.
A couple states that do have that. That's what I always liked about New Hampshire as well. Live free or die. Great state. I was so fortunate to grow up there. It's been so long since I've been back, though.
Yeah.
A lot's changed. I talked to my buddies that live there and like, it's just a different world now.
It is.
Back there. And just, that's fine. Everything continues to evolve, but it's so old there, too. You got the Salem witch trials. So in my hometown, there was this bed and breakfast called Tuck Me In, and it made like the top 10 list of haunted places to stay at. Oh. Yeah.
In your hometown.
Yeah, Wolfboro,
Nice.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Shout out W Borough. Kingswood Knights. Let's go, baby.
So, what's your experience in Wyoming? Have you guys been up to Wyoming?
Yeah, so my experience in Wyoming is chug water, best chili. Okay. Outside of that, I did do some camping over the 4th of July weekend at Lake Guernsey.
Cool.
And I had a great time there. And that's it. That's all I got.
So I've been to some rodeos out there, and I did a lot of construction out there too.
Okay.
Just on the southern side of the state. Going up there.
Saratoga area, or
Yes, exactly that area. So I kind of know Wyoming for that long drive from Denver up there because we would drive up there for the work day, go work, and then drive home. And so those were really long days.
That sounds brutal.
But rodeo
actually.
type stuff was a lot of fun out there. It was a lot of fun. And, like, look, I like people who like to kick up dust. Like, you know, cowboy boots, sure. You know, it's all fun.
Don't make me throw them up. It's
Mm-hmm.
been a while.
Do it, Kev.
It's been a while since we've seen the old boots on the table.
Oh, look at them.
Now, for the record, I just want to indicate I am
You
from
got
New England.
studs on those?
No spurs, nothing like that. I'm not a cowboy. I'm just a country boy. I grew up in the sticks of New Hampshire. I really didn't find my Western culture, though, until I came to Denver. That's where I really started to be like, okay, I wear a Stetson hat for a little bit. I love Yellowstone. Okay, Yellowstone's tremendous.
Have you been watching the new season?
It's ridiculous.
I haven't seen the new season yet. We can't spoil anything on the new season
No
yet.
spoilers, but
Yeah.
Like it's entertaining, but it's kind of hard to watch. So my husband is born and raised in Wyoming. He can't get through 10 minutes of it.
Okay.
really, he's just like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's entertaining.
It's a great show, I think. I love Kevin Costner, and I love Cole Hauser playing Rip Wheeler. So many great characters on that show. Everyone loves Beth, of course.
Yeah, I do actually love Kevin Costner. I mean, Waterworld.
Dances with
I thought
Wolves.
I thought he
classic
would never
movie.
come up from that, but this is,
Waterworld is a classic.
it is. It's great.
Kevin Costner's great in a lot of things. I mean, The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher
Mm-hmm.
comes to mind. Dances with Wolves, going back old school. He's done another Western, too.
Well, and he was Superman's dad. I mean,
What?
Come on.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was Superman's
missed
dad.
that.
And when the tornado took him away, respect. Respect.
See, I didn't know that. But,
Yeah, he was a good papa.
really?
Real good papa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like Kevin Costner. He's making ridiculous money on this program, though. He doesn't need to do anything. I mean,
He's coming out with a program now where he is actually doing a more documentary, nature series
Saw
style
it.
talking
it's on-
about Yellowstone.
Yeah, on Fox Nation, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, so
I haven't seen the
mean,
program, but I saw it's being promoted heavily.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is the number one show in America right now. So people are, all these spin-offs, 1923, 1883, people are loving it. They're making money hand over fist. It is. It's just good mindless entertainment, I feel like.
It is. Yes, I can agree with that.
So you've definitely talked to us about a lot of epic things that actually have keystone important. It's important in the modern society what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. So I feel like it's only necessary, especially because we do this on every episode. We ask every single guest if you could give humanity one piece of advice so everybody would be better tomorrow. What would that piece of advice be?
One piece of advice. I mean, I guess it's too easy to say get outside, but more than that, I've had a lesson in balance and kind of self-preservation because this process of building this tech product has challenged me in ways I never thought possible. And I tend to be an overachiever and a perfectionist, and I started this journey by spending 12 hours on my computer a day and really just putting aside the things that I would have normally done because I felt like I needed to get this done, keep going. You're not really doing it if you're not into it 10,000%. And in the last 6 months, I've really tried to adopt a mindset of, listening to your body and just listening to your energy levels and realizing when you are at a point where you really can't do, good work anymore. You really can't force yourself to do the thing that you should be doing. And so I guess what I would say if you were to boil that down to, one kind of tidbit or one soundbite is to start questioning yourself when the word should comes into your head. I should get this done. I should go do this. And sometimes that should is I need to, or this is important. But, I'm somebody who my energy levels are deeply, deeply connected to how much time I get to go out and move my body. And so if I get to a point where I say, I should do this, and I keep forcing myself to do something, even though my body is screaming at me to go sweat, go hike, go do something and move myself, it really impacts me negatively, emotionally, physically, mentally, and it really takes a lot to bounce back from that. So, it doesn't mean playing hooky and saying I'm going to take the whole day off, but this last week, Jackson got 21 inches of snow overnight, and I'd been working my butt off all week long, and I had no meetings, and I was like, you know what? It's I'm going to work on Saturday. I'm going to go out today. And I got so much done on Saturday, on Sunday. I drove down here, did that whole road trip with all the happy hours. And just in general, I know that it positively affected my outlook, the way that I was able to interact with people, because I had that opportunity to reset myself, to kind of have that balance. So again, you know, if I were to give something to people, it's to really listen to what do you need right now to actually be like the best version of yourself moving forward, because it doesn't help yourself to drive yourself into the ground, and really question when you start saying should. So that's what I would say.
That was layered. I really did like that.
That was powerful.
Maybe
Yeah.
longer than you wanted, but
No, that's perfect.
okay.
That's good. People need to hear it.
Yeah,
It's
they
good,
do.
you know, because you know the easy thing to do is complain, right? Make excuses, and you're like, you know what? It snowed 21 inches. I could just say, hey, I'm snowed in. I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
He said, you know, I'm gonna go out there and get it.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Got to hit the reset button every once in a while.
You do, and you know, and everything pays off. You know, what you get out what you put in. I
Yeah.
feel like it really is a point that we echo a lot. It can be kind of cliche and repetitive, but the fact remains, yeah, you're hitting on some good stuff here. You got to go out and get after it.
And the other thing too is if I'm trying to, you know, drive this mission of like, ladies, go get after it. I'm not a very good leader if I never actually do it myself. You know, so it's kind of like leading by example and, you know, just living the life of the person you want to be. Like if you see yourself being a workaholic, then that's what you're going to be. You know, you have to really you have to live the life that you want for yourself, and you have to remind yourself sometimes.
I respect that.
Well, I really like, and I want to kind of magnify this one point that you made was the I should. And that's our intuition speaking to us, right? Like our intuition knows what's best for us, and the I should might actually be extremely difficult to accomplish. It might be challenging. It might be like that long hike that you're going to challenge yourself on. I should pick up the phone and call my parents right now, or I should take the risk and go ask that girl for her number, or I should do these things. But too often our minds start to talk us out of these opportunities of what we should do and compared to like what we want to do, like, and what we
Or
want.
what's easy.
Yeah, and like a lot of times the conscious is complacent, like it wants us to like have this easy life, but our intuition is telling us to be driven. So like I want to focus on that a little bit, just because the I should is this like I must, and I've adapted that mentality over the last year or so. Like, and we talk about it like a 5-second rule, and we mentioned this a lot on the podcast, but we haven't talked to you about it, so I always like to re-bring it up. And what the 5-second rule is, intuition tells us what to do, the I should, and it might be difficult to accomplish. So then our complacent consciousness comes into play and is like, I don't need to do 10 push-ups right now, or I don't need to do 6 flights of stairs right now, even though I just told myself I should. But when you actually tell yourself to shut up and you just move with action immediately,
Yeah.
then the satisfaction and like you can see your own ability then, and there's just this like level of living in the now, because I truly believe living in the now is how people actually are happy. Like, sure, we learn from our past, we will learn from what's happened. I'm working toward things, but right now is what's truly important. Like even sitting across the table from you and being able to have an opportunity to promote ILA and this women's outdoor company that is bringing ladies together from across the nation, and it's just strength. Like sharing this moment with you is the now, and it's important, and I'm present with that. So I feel like that's all part of the I should, and I fully challenge everybody, and I didn't challenge anybody this week, so the challenge for this week is listen to your I should, and instead of being like I shunned that, you should just go ahead and do it right away. And regardless of what you have to do, just make it happen, because then you're actually going to be experiencing life. You're going to be challenging yourself, and that's where life is at. And life does not exist on a couch looking at the Black Mirror, our phones, or whatever it is. Like, we got to put that stuff down. We have to get out there and start experiencing life, challenging ourselves. And instead of being I should, it's like I did. You know,
Exactly.
I love that you said that sentence like that, because it's so important. It really is.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that I tapped into a recurring theme on the show. I planned that all along.
I'll get hyped up. I'll go on like a 12-minute raw rant on that, like if you give me the space.
It's true. And as much
And then
as I
you can
didn't-
talk about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You guys
Tom
both have
Brady.
your soapbox.
the goat. So, one thing that...
Game on Sunday.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. Speaking on that theme of positivity, something I always drive home, Art. Our listeners know, I say it every fucking week, and I'm going to continue to say it. People tend to do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. And a lot of that comes back to the I should, right? Doing more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure is a sense of complacency that we all are a victim of. We've all been there. It's easy to get that mind, like you said, oh, well, I should do this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to justify it because of this reason. It was a long week. I'm stressed. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that and the other. That's just a psychological trait that I think everybody deals with at some point.
Yeah.
But when you can challenge that, and when you can combat it, and when you start to see results from it by just mini victories. I talk to so many people that are like, because I talk about the 10-minute rule a lot. We got the 5-second rule, we got the 10-minute rule.
We got rules in this building.
So my 10-minute rule is for folks that are overwhelmed about what's going on at the house. Oh, I got laundry, I got dishes, all this, right? Put 10 minutes on the clock. See how much you can get done.
Yep.
And when that time expires, do what you will with it. But it's amazing how much you can get done when you allocate just a little bit of time, right? Because a lot of folks just want to go home and do nothing, and I understand that. We all work hard. We need some unwinding time. But the I should do the dishes. I should do some laundry. I should probably put this away or that, and I should do cleaning. It's great advice. And it's something that I think we need to continue to echo on. I really do. Because for me, it's changed my life. Just practicing those little things. Because I'm not the most ambitious person in the world, but finding those mini victories and those mini results of just 10 minutes at a time, or doing something that gets you out of your comfort zone and experiencing some dopamine from it can really change your life and change the trajectory.
Yeah, and that idea of time blocking, I think as an entrepreneur, they've, really romanticized the idea of like, oh, we work 12-hour days, we work all weekend. And like, yes, I work a lot. But at the same time, working 12 hours, or if I work from 7 to 3 and then I go out and do an activity in the afternoon, I get worlds more done in that 7 to 3 if I come in feeling like rested, like I was able to, do something yesterday, rather than trying to like force myself to chain myself at my desk and say, I'm not leaving until I get this done. If I leave something at 3 o'clock and I go do something that I really enjoy and kind of get out of my head, then I come back at 7 the next morning, I get it done in half an hour.
No, it's super healthy. It really is. I mean, with my day job, it's, computer based. I do have a standing desk, which helps, but I give myself time to go on like a 3-mile walk, which I can do in like 40 minutes to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I'm not walking that fast, but but it's so important because you have to remove yourself, and then once you get out, start moving your body, it resets your mind. And I don't like to be like, because I stay productive, and a lot of people be like, you're working all the time, and I'm like, no, I'm not working all the time. I'm actually just a productive person. Even on my Saturday and Sundays when I have my days off, like I'm doing chores, I'm still being productive, and I don't want to look at anything like work. Even my day job, I am being productive. Like I don't look at it like work, because I'm just a productive person at this point in my life, and I feel like that mentality of production opposed to work, like it's minute difference, but all the little things that we do daily add up to a big picture. Like you put together a 1,000-piece puzzle, like you have all these little pieces, and as you continue to put them in and you're consistent and you're doing it right, then all of a sudden you have this big picture that you created from all your little actions. So it's like, challenge yourself on your little actions. Be mindful about the time that you spent when you think nothing is going on. You can always make something happen.
Yeah.
Like you could always do something. And it's amazing, like, what kind of energy that can bring to your life, and more importantly, the energy that you project that people feel and feed on in order to be motivated. And you got that 100%. No, you do. You're running with it, and you're getting it out there, and you're creating this movement to create a comfortable environment for women to go out and experience world outside of the city and the world outside of the phones and stuff. So it's important. I highly suggest that everybody listening checks out ILA. You check out the company, you see what it's about, and you start supporting this, because it's only going to do something that's bigger than yourself, and then you're going to become involved in something that is more important than individuality and like the community thing. Like, humans are communal creatures, right? So look, I can keep going off. I got a little buzz going on right now. So,
You're addicted.
yeah. So I could talk about this. Yes.
That's awesome.
Going on the raw ramp. No, but
I love it.
hitting on some good points for sure. I love it. I mean, 3 months in, you're already yielding amazing results. This is obviously a platform and a program that is going to succeed. You're already on the path to it. Full send. Let it rip, tater chip. Let's go. Game time. No, I think it's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate the vote of confidence. It's so hard because we always feel like we should be going 10 times faster and 10 times bigger. But, every time we talk about this with other people and hear it, reflected back to us in the way that you have, we know that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
You have Discussion Combustion's full support. Whenever you need our help, just reach out. Sarah Christine can testify. We'll throw out promo videos. We'll do whatever we can to, because when we can stand behind something, and we actually, like, Kevin and I are both salesmen. Like, we've both been salesmen our whole life. You can only sell things that you truly believe in. I believe in Illa. It's going to blow up, and it's super exciting to have you in here in the baby phases, because everyone's going to go back and like, what was this podcast? and when she was just a baby with her company, and it's going to be so cool for everyone to see.
That's awesome. Well, cheers to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Cheers. And thanks again for coming down from Jackson Hole
Cheers to
for a visit.
Big
Sarah
cheers.
Christine coming in for another throw here.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Full send. I think we covered a couple of links, of course, but this is the spotlight now to promote anything you want for Illa, for yourself, whatever. Where do folks get in touch? What do they do?
Awesome. Well, we already mentioned the website is weareilla.com. On there is a contact form. You can also find us on Instagram. We are Illa. No, I'm sorry, it's not that. We changed it. Illa Women.
Illa Women on
Yeah,
Instagram.
ILLA, Illa Women on Instagram. Reach out to us on there. Ask questions, and tell your friends.
We love what you do here. We truly do, and we will. You're part of our network partnership group now. Okay, so we're gonna stay in touch. We're gonna keep supporting you. You support us. We scratch each other's backs, and we keep moving forward with a positive momentum that helps humanity. That's what it's all about, Kev.
We got to keep this thing moving, of course. I mean, another great episode in the books. We had Tana in tonight. Great conversation. We talked some 603. I like that.
We did.
Anytime I can sit down and talk Granite State makes me happy.
That's really why you brought me on the show.
I honestly didn't know that until I was on this group thread earlier. So, to be fair, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, both of us were going 603, 603.
Yeah. I even said, I was like, who's the 603 on this? He's like, well, I'll find out. I'm like, no, I'm going to find out. Okay? And we found out.
Yes.
Live Free or Die. Illa. That's going to be fantastic. Everyone get in touch with that. We're going to include everything in the show notes down below so you can get involved, get in touch. And once again, what a great podcast. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for sharing a Bud Light with us.
For sure.
Be sure to head down and grab your favorite cold Anheuser-Busch cold Bud Light. And join us on Discussion Combustion Weekly. And you already know, be good to yourselves.
You deserve it.
That was great.
You guys.